Hey y'all, it's the Slav. I'm back with an update on my BAR Quebec progress. I have just finished the second game turn, the 0920 turn, and where I left off in a previous video, I mentioned the crushing success that the British had in the close combat on the left flank of the French there, smashing those units that were still caught out in column. That pretty much wrapped up the British activity for turn two because they'd gotten that wing activation and moved their entire force. So that left a bunch of French maneuvering. And that was basically just marching people towards the action. Dalquier's command up here that had come onto that northern road, they continued their movement. I've had them split up. My intention would be to have the milice go into skirmish formation and just keep marching the infantry down. Also, the scattered sort of reinforcements that came in on that second turn, the two Sauvage and the cavalry unit marched on down that path through the woods. Some of them made their initiative rolls, so they had full movement. The Indians back here, this final unit did not, so they did not get very far. They are in road column. Also, Roquemore's command, I had their milice units deploy into skirmish formation, and the two actual, I think they're Fusilier or, let's see, what are they? Yeah, Fusilier units. They continued on in column. Got through all of the French activations, not a whole lot going on. I did have some firing here. Poirier's command and the Grenadiers in the redoubt fired. Actually, no, I did not do that. The units that were deployed in these redoubts for the French fired on the British skirmishers that were attacking them. No effect there. Basically, I don't think any casualties have been inflicted between the units in the redoubt and the skirmishers attacking them. So clearly I would have to come up with a better strategy for that. And with the first playthrough of this, there are lots of things that I already would do differently, even just in these first two turns as I get a better grip of the rolls. French artillery did fire at the British. I think maybe I only racked up one strength point loss there. So got through all the activations and then onto the rally phase. Rally phase was actually rather successful for both sides, except, well, not the British so much, because Monckton's foot stayed shaken. They did not, they had rallied themselves from rout in the previous turn, but they still have not gotten rid of that shaken result. French were very successful, though. Every single French unit that had routed these two stacks in Dumas' command from the very first rout that took place, as well as, let's see, the one of the other French units that had routed. Actually, no, these were the very first French units that routed here, that Grenadier battalion. Everybody rallied back to shaken, disordered, so they would be getting into the fight. The really notable action to wrap up this turn, which I failed to mention, this one milice unit that was caught out in column that did not get close combated because the British unit that would have attacked them failed their pre-close combat morale check. They were in a completely untenable situation. They were still in column. All of their other units that had been alongside them had routed. So I decided to change them into skirmish formation during their activation. Bad part about that is that obviously brings on opportunity fire from adjacent units. So both of these battalions or regiments combined their fire, and they ended up destroying 5 out of the 6 strength points of this milice unit. So they did deploy themselves into skirmish. They faced around, but they went from 300 soldiers in a column formation down to 50 in a skirmish. So I would probably, going forward, try to get them out of that situation completely, let these full-strength skirmish units come up, harry these British foot units here, and then, of course, I've got Dalquier's command. As I mentioned earlier, I really just did not do anything useful with artillery here. I had meant to start deploying them basically in a line here just to kind of sweep these reinforcements with fire as they approached. I also would be getting a 12-pounder and the howitzers here probably just to start lobbing rounds on this readout and see if I might actually be able to speed up the reduction of the French force in this one. So that's what I would do, sort of a post-mortem on this. Having said that, I think I have come into the somewhat difficult decision to just pack this one up from the table. As I posted previously on my channel and mentioned, I believe, in a previous video, I have La Bataille d'Orthez Scenario 1 set up on the other end of the table, and I really do want to get into that. I am feeling a Napoleonic pull in general, and with La Bataille kind of going hand in hand design-wise as the predecessor to BAR. Of course, they're completely different time periods, but definitely as I do read the La Bataille rules, I can see the lineage there. A lot of the same concepts, just adjustments in BAR because you're going back to the previous century, basically. I really do want to get into La Bataille d'Orthez, so I want to make sure I got some time to finish those rules and start moving those around. And also think I'm going to get a smaller footprint battle for the OSG Library of Napoleonic Battles system on the table. Own a lot of those games as well. It's kind of becoming a common theme, isn't it? I own a lot of these games, never really play them much. So I want to get back refamiliarized with that system with something small and just generally stick with Napoleonics for a while. That being said, my preferences change, so I could very well end up going, I certainly will at some point, go back to BAR. I really do enjoy the system. Might be better off with just more of a, training scenario where I'm just concentrating on the infantry versus infantry, artillery kind of stuff to get those mechanics down a little more solid so that I don't then set up an actual proper battle like this and then have regrets about how I'm fighting the forces on the field. So thanks again to all of you who are subscribing and hitting the like button. I have kind of crept up a little bit in subscribers here over the past week or two, it seems, now that I've started to put videos again. Wow, go figure. So thanks to you, especially those few of you who've subscribed recently. So if you like Napoleonics, you're going to like what's coming up next, but do not fear, even if you don't like Napoleonics, I am never terribly far away from World War II, modern, coming down the pike here in the next couple months probably. I should be receiving my copies of the second edition of Littoral Commander Indo-Pac and Littoral Commander Australia. So when those come in, I will probably want to get those on the table and start playing around with those again. We've got, of course, 3 days of Gettysburg, the second, or well, I guess it's actually the third edition now, maybe. I can't even keep track. But that'll be getting released here in another month or so, and I am never terribly far away from putting something ACW on the table as well. So stick around. Stuff will change here on the table, and I'll keep posting videos. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.